All right, this is Husky Hardcore back here. I'm going to do my AFC West preview. Going to do a little different than I was planning. I was going to go by team with their own segment each, but I'm just not going to have enough time to do that. So I'm going to go through all four teams right now, and I'm going to try to make this pretty quick so I can get through all I got to say for all of them. I'm going to start off with the team that I'm going to have going last in the AFC West, and that is the Kansas City Chiefs. They won the division last year, had a pretty decent year against a weaker schedule, took advantage of every opportunity they have, so I can't hate them. They had an easy schedule, they had good, didn't have very many key injuries, and they won the division last year and had the best rushing offense in the league, so they were pretty good, but I'm expecting them to have a pretty big drop off this year. They've looked really bad the whole preseason. Even had their starters playing into the fourth quarter on defense. I know Ali was in the game still with 3 minutes left on the fourth preseason game, just because they really tried to get the win to give them some good hopes, and they just have looked really terrible. So they wanted to kind of get some kind of a groove, which they kind of got a little bit of a groove going on against Green Bay's second and third teams. But that just kind of shows you how dire things are in Kansas City right now, I think. Big loss for Kansas City Chiefs is the offensive coordinator Charlie Wise. Went to the University of Florida. Called the plays last year and didn't really get along with Todd Haley, so he left and went out the door. And uh, now Todd Haley's running the show again for the offense. They hired another offensive coordinator, which I don't think a whole lot of Chiefs fans even know who it is because it's a nobody's name. It's a no name. He's not going to be calling the play calls. It's going to be Todd Haley's show. Um, Todd Haley ran the show 2 years ago, didn't do very well. Um, Chiefs were really bad that year offensively, and I'm kind of expecting them to fall back again this year. Um, like I said, they led the league in rushing. Haley likes to throw the ball. He was a wide receivers coach, and I think that they're going to get away from their bread and butter. Todd Haley gets frustrated sometimes, and I think it's going to be a downfall for the Chiefs this year, the big downfall. Uh, how they like to throw the ball, they did pick up Jonathan Baldwin, the first round draft pick out of Pitt. Kind of was a little bit of a surprise. I don't think he's going to be too good. He's a big body, had pretty decent numbers in Pitt, but was kind of a malcontent. Had a little problems assaulting a girl on a bus, I think is what it was. They kind of cleared that up. College athletes normally do. Then he went off on his quarterback and his coach, saying that they're the reason why he hasn't been getting good numbers. Kind of hasn't just not been very well. And then this year, when he goes to camp, ends up getting a fight with Thomas Jones, which also shows a little bit of stupidity. Because there's anybody on the Chiefs you do not want to fight is Thomas Jones. That guy just lives in the weight room. You see his arms when he carries that ball; they're huge. Um, but they got him. They also got Breston from Arizona, which not Charlie Wise, Todd Haley knows from his days in Arizona. So it looks like going into the season that Todd Haley really wants to pick up the passing game, and I think that's what they're going to do. Probably get away from Thomas Jones and Jamal Charles, which is what they shouldn't do. But that's kind of what I have planned. What I think the Chiefs are looking at. Looked pretty bad all off season. Defensively, their defensive line has not been very good. Thomas Jackson, not Thomas Jackson. Yeah, maybe it's Thomas Jackson. First round draft pick a couple years ago has been a bust. Has not looked very good. Getting laid off the line, getting blown off the ball all preseason. So I'm about to hurry up so I can get to the other teams. Defensively, their line's not been good, very good. Their backers are all right. Pope and Derek Johnson are all right. Backfield's pretty all right. Brandon Carr, when he shows up, can be a pretty decent DB. Uh, Brandon Flowers, he had a great year last year. If he can continue, that would be pretty decent for him. The biggest thing on their defense is their defense coordinator, Romeo Cornell. He did a great job turning that defense around last year with his schemes and throwing offensive off balance. Eric Berry's their safety. I think he's a little bit overrated. A lot of Chiefs fans love him. Quick, fast. Last year's number one draft pick, but he gets burnt by tight ends quite a bit down the field. Kind of weak against the pass, and that's kind of weird because he's a small, fast guy. Let's go to the team I got number third in the AFC West. And truly, this is a really hard one for me to pick. I want to go with the Oakland Raiders, number three. Have them. Oh, Chiefs record I have is probably going to be 6-10, plus side 8-8. If everything goes good for them. Raiders I have it 8-8. Pretty decent players all the way around. Promoted Hugh Jackson as their head coach. Like Al Saunders, who's now the offensive coordinator. Excuse me. But good players all around, offensively and defensively for the Chiefs. Big question marks is Jason Campbell. I have a hard time believing that this is the year Jason Campbell's finally going to find out, turn things around with no OTAs, no summer workouts, and now all of a sudden this is going to be the year he's going to be get it right. I'm not buying it. Great players, as I was saying, on the offense. Jacoby Ford, their linebacker Reese, I like a lot. Not linebacker, their fullback. Pull him out of the pocket, get him mismatched against a linebacker. A lot of speed on this Raiders team. Maybe the fastest team in football. Darren McFadden, Michael Bush, in the backfield. Good running game. If they keep with that running game, Al Saunders is a good offensive coordinator. I think he'll work around Jason Campbell's weaknesses, and I think that the Raiders will be pretty decent. Defensively, again, really fast, decent, good linebackers. They lost Asamoah, sorry, but they still got a pretty decent defensive backfield. They're going to be a pretty good team. Defensive line, they got Richard Seymour still down low. The thing about the Raiders is you just never know what you're going to get with them. Something seems to always go along, and everybody always blames it on Al Davis. As long as he's running the team, things aren't going to go good. But you got to like their players. Their players are going to be pretty decent. They were 6-0 last year in the AFC West, won undefeated, but they also went 2-8 against everybody else in the NFL, which was one of the weakest schedules in the NFL. So it's kind of our schedule in the whole AFC West is going to be a lot harder this year. Don't know how that's going to work out. It's I got them at 8-8. I almost had them at number 2 in the conference, but number 2 in the conference I have Denver Broncos, and I have them also at 8-8. It was a toss-up between the two. I think Denver's going to greatly improve. Orange Crush defense will be back. I like that we went back to the 4-3 to get an extra defensive lineman down to help stop the run. You got to like our rookies that we got, Von Miller and Raheem Moore. If you go through player by player in the defensively, they're top notch. Our defense coordinator came over, Allen from New Orleans when they went to the Super Bowl. Makes a lot of turnovers. This preseason looked really good. Haven't given up a touchdown all preseason with our starting defense. So a lot of good things I like about our defense. Bunkley came over from Philadelphia to help shore up the inside of the line. Vickerson's still there. I really like what we got on defense. Our players are good players. I've always said that last year the reason we sucked was because our coordinator, Wink, was not very good. Probably the worst defense coordinator I've ever seen. I'm trying to make this hurry so I can get this done in the 15-minute slot. Offensively, I also wanted to bring up John Fox was a defensive-minded coach, and I think between him and Allen, we're both going to the defense is going to be greatly improved. Really, I like our defense a whole lot. Offensively, Kyle Orton is our starting quarterback. He won the job out this preseason. Looked pretty consistent. Looked like he did last year. You know what you got with Orton. Hopefully, just doesn't make any mistakes. Give up bad field position, and he should be pretty all right. Especially if our defense is not putting him in bad positions like we did last year. Last year, I think the Broncos only won field position in 3 games, and they won all 3 games, so I expect that to change. Part of the reason for that is because I think we're going to have a better running game under Fox. We ended up getting Willis McGahee, no Sean Moreno, so hopefully those two combined are going to do a lot better running. It's looked like that they have been so far this preseason. Julius Thomas is now our tight end. We didn't have hardly any tight end play last year, which is another thing that's going to help us out with possession wise. Um, Keeping the ball out of the other team's hands, helping us set up good position for our offense and for our defense. Good field position also comes with the kicking game. I like our kickers a lot. Prater, we know, can kick the crap out of the ball. Um, our punter, Colquitt, kind of growing a blank. He's been killing the ball this preseason. Everything's looking really good in our special teams. We lost Saquon Thompson for the year, it sounds like. And we also, he was going to be returning kicks. Looked pretty good all preseason. We also let go of Parrish Cox, trouble off of the field. He would have been probably the next guy to return kicks. With those two gone, I'm going to have to guess Eddie Royal's going to be the man. They try not to do that because they don't want him to be hurt offensively, but he's explosive. Had that big. He's a good returner. I think he's probably the best returner on the team. We're trying to save him, and I would say he's probably going to be returning kicks now. Let's see what all. Offensive line, didn't get this on the. A lot of bad talk about our offensive line because we didn't run very good last year, but our pass blocking was pretty good. I like the pickup of Orlando Franklin, and I got to get on to San Diego. I have us at 8-8. On the plus side, if everything goes right for us, mostly I add 2 games. So if everything goes right, maybe we could get to 10-6. Everything goes wrong, we could probably be 6-8 or 6-10. But I really like the Broncos. So I'm expecting us to be in the 8-8 to 10-6 range. Number 1 team in the AFC West, I got the San Diego Chargers. They've had the players for years now. You expect them to run away with the division for years now, and they just never seem to do it. I'm not a big North Turner fan. I don't know if that's part of the problem why. They just start out slow. Phillip Rivers, I'm not a big fan of him, but he's they're the only team in the division has a legit franchise quarterback, I believe, in Phillip Rivers. Going to have Vincent Jackson all year, plus Antonio Gates, Malcolm Floyd. They got a pretty decent wide receiver crew. Mike Tolbert and Ryan Matthews. I like Tolbert a lot. He was on my fantasy team last year, helped me out when I was really hurting a running back. So, hard, strong runner. I like him a lot. Defensively, they picked up Bob Sanders, safety. Always has injury problems, but when he's in the game, he can be a difference maker. They did lose Sean Marion to the Bills. After his injury, he was never quite back to what he once was. Player-wise, personnel-wise, you look at the Chargers, and they should be able to win the division. I have them at probably around 10-6. If they falter like they normally seem to do, it could drop down to 8-8. If everything goes right for them, they could be 12-4. Like you said, you just never know with San Diego, what San Diego team's going to show up on what day. They got the players. It's just they're just a mystery. Only got a minute left here, so pretty much just go overall wrap up here. I like the Broncos a lot. I'll talk about the Broncos this last minute because that's my squad. I like the Broncos a lot. I think defensively, if we turn it around like I really think that we can, we could contend if San Diego falters and maybe get into the maybe able to take the division. I don't want to be too much of a fan and just say that, but I really like our players. Hopefully, injuries is going to be big. Our second teamers didn't look very good against the Cardinals in our last preseason game, so hopefully nobody seriously gets hurt. We're already a little weak on the defensive line. I know Bunkley hasn't practiced on Monday, but hopefully he'll be back for the game this next Monday night against the Raiders. And I like our team a lot. Offensively, we just got to be consistent. And I've only got 10 seconds left. I'll be coming up with my Denver Broncos Raiders preview video and maybe picks of the weeks if I have enough time. Later.